You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 16th meeting for the Michigan City Common Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 16, 2025. I would ask that you would all please silence all of your electronic devices and please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we do roll call, I would just like to acknowledge that we have Councilwoman Moldenauer that will be joining us via Zoom. And then we have an absence that I am aware of, Councilman Nelson. Madam Clerk, on the roll call, please.
Mr. Beatrice?
Present.
Mr. Coulter?
Present.
Mr. Dabney?
Present.
Dr. Cora?
Present.
Ms. Lee? Present. Ms. Moldenauer?
Present.
Mr.
Present.
Mr. Preselinski?
Present.
And Ms. Hillman.
Present.
We have 8 present and 1 absent.
We have next approval of minutes, regular council hybrid Zoom, September 2nd, 2025, executive session, August 27, 2025. For the executive session held on August 27, 2025, it was held, but there was no final decisions or no agreements were made at that time. May I entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion by Dr. Cora, second by Councilman Dabney. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Preselinski?
Aye.
Ms. Hillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee? Aye. And Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
We have 8 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you.
Madam President, I have a point.
Dr. Cora?
Madam President, I was considering introducing a motion to reconsider the three resolutions regarding to Project Maze. I wanted a legal opinion from Mr. Joel Harris whether if that is feasible.
Chair.
Yes, but before you do elaborate on that, I would just indicate should this go forth, it would not be a motion to consider. Before that can happen, there has to be a motion to suspend to change the agenda because that is not on the agenda this evening.
I was going to make that motion in case if this is possible. But if it's not possible, I'm not going to ask to
Okay.
change my.
Attorney Harris, if you would, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So I understand the question to be whether or not it is an option available to the council to reconsider the actions taken at the last council meeting, and that was the adoption of several resolutions related to Project Maze. So the idea of reconsidering an action taken by the council is found in Robert's Rules of Order. And in general and in theory, yes, the council has until the next council meeting, which is now, to reconsider any official action taken at the prior meeting. That is not without exception, though. There are exceptions to that general authority. And one of the exceptions is if the subject matter of the resolution, in this instance, it's not an ordinance or several resolutions, if any of those ordinances are the subject of a contract, then that is not an option that's available to the council. Because the council is not only bound by the terms of the resolution that it adopted, but it's also bound by the terms of the contract. In this instance, you have another party to the taxpayer agreement, which was included with the resolution, who's relied upon the terms of that agreement, which is fully executed. It's on file at the clerk's office. They have a copy of it. And now they've relied upon the terms of that contract and have entered into agreements with NIPSCO, with the end user, and ordered equipment. So in this instance, I would not advise the council to go forward with a motion to reconsider because it would expose the city to liability because of the agreement that's in place.
Madam President, my question has been answered. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Dr. Cora. Next on our agenda, reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee meeting. The Michigan City Finance Committee met on today, September 16th, 2025. We did have a quorum. We went over the claims docket for September 16th, 2025. Riverboat Fund, $22,350. Riverboat EFT Fund, $22,350. Rainy Day Fund, 2236, $298,293.15. Boyd Development Fund 2504, $200,000. Those funds is for the Reith and Riley Constructions Co. Inc., $289,758.15, and Schneider Geometrics, $8,535, totaling $298,293.16. And the $200,000 accounts payable was for Michigan City Economic Development, and that was for their annual invoices. Total claims for September 16th is $498,293.15. May I entertain a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Dabney, a second by Councilman Prisbalinski. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice.
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
and Mr. President.
Aye.
I have 8 in favor and no one opposed.
The claims docket for September 16, 2025 has been approved. The City of Michigan City 2025 Riverboat Rainy Day Fund Statement of Cash Position fiscal year to date, September 16, 2025. Fund type 2235, ending balance $5,146,123.95. Fund type 2236, Rainy Day Fund, $1,167,490.42. The grand total ending balance, $6,313,614.37. There were no other discussions or comments for the Finance Committee meeting. Next, we have on our agenda, are there reports from boards and commissions?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilwoman Moldenauer.
thank you. I want to make one announcement. This is from the Michigan City Sustainability Commission. October, our Northwest Indiana Green Drinks will feature bird migration. People may have noticed many lights being out in the large cities. And here in St. Louis, the arch even isn't lit. And this is because this is the convergence of many of our migratory birds coming through our area right now. So we're excited to have a special program on bird migration. This is going to be presented by Jen Jensen of the Audubon Society. First Tuesday of the month, which will be October 2nd, 6:30 p.m. via Zoom, which link can be obtained from m@savedunes.org, or it can be found on Save the Dunes Facebook Live. I invite everybody to come to this extremely interesting and important topic at this time of year to see what all of us can do to help our migratory feathered friends that are visiting through our area right now.
Okay, thank you, Controller. I'm sorry. Councilwoman Moldenauer. Are there any other reports from boards and commissions? Any other reports from boards and commissions? There are none. Reports of special or select committees.
Yeah, Madam
Councilman-
President.
Councilman Prisbalinski.
Yeah, I'd like to make reports on two different commissions that I'm a member of. And the first one's on the LaPorte County Solid Waste District, which I'm the president of that commission. And I just want to thank Sasha Burns, who is the head of the recycling education program for LaPorte County. She put on a program, I think it was about a week ago, via Zoom, and it was very interesting. It lasted about an hour, and she went through all the items that can be recycled and items that can't be recycled. And she did say that she was going to put on another presentation later in the fall. So when that comes about, and I'm sure Councilwoman Mullenhour will put the information out, that if you have a chance, tune in and see what Sasha has to say. And one of the interesting things that I picked up from this is that there's a person in West Lafayette that is heavy into recycling, and she collects the tags, the plastic tags that are on bread bags, and then she has to collect 260,000 of them, and then she is able to purchase a wheelchair for a child. And I guess this is like a nationwide, what I understand, it's a nationwide type project. But I thought that was interesting, and maybe we can have more information to follow on that and see maybe what the city can do if everybody pitches in, how many bread tags it would take, right, in a year from one individual to collect. So I thought that was interesting. So I want to give a shout out to Sasha Burns. And then second of all, the Michigan City Art Commission had their ribbon cutting at the Pullman
Skate park.
skate park Saturday. Although it did rain early in the morning, the sun came out around 11 o'clock. And I want to say that there was probably 40 children out there, teenagers combined, doing their thing on the apparatuses. But what it was mainly for was to thank and give recognition to the artist that did the work with the murals. And his name is, I got it written down right here, Chris Silva. He's from Chicago, but he lives in South Bend. So we honored him. And if you get a chance, take a ride past the Pullman skate park. It's eye-opening. To me, it's another destination point for Michigan City and Northwest Indiana. And I guess they have competition there throughout the year. And yeah, that was really, really nice. And a couple of people that I want to thank from the Arts Committee, because they put all the hard work and effort to put this together, is Carol Ann Brown. She's a member of the Arts Committee, and she coordinated this whole event. Along with her, also want to thank Shannon Eason, Park Superintendent. She's on the Arts Committee also, but she was there helping out. Same thing with Mr. William Walker from the Park Department, Pat Volz, the maintenance director, and a park staff member, Melissa Moore, was there making hot dogs and handing out food and awards and things like that. So just want to give a shout out to those hard working members of both the community and the city administration for taking their Saturday and spending the time, because we left there probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a full day of activities. It was a lot of fun, and just the things that you can accomplish when people get together and try to move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Prisbalinski. Are there any other reports of special or select committees? There are none. Reports from mayor or other city officers and departments. We have Mayor Deitch.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I have several things. First, sorry I couldn't be there this evening, but one of the first things I do want to send our condolences to firefighter Ricky Nagy, to his family, and to our fire department. His funeral is this Saturday at the Lakeview Lakeview Crematory and Funeral Home in LaPorte from 10 to 2 p.m. on this Saturday. So again, our condolences. If you would like to participate as council, please let me know. And again, we plan to have all of the fire stations with the ability to go to the funeral on Saturday. A couple of other announcements. Again, I would like to congratulate Chief Forker and also Kyle Shaparsky. He is our new assistant chief. His appointment, they were sworn in this past Saturday with their family, and I wanted to give them a congratulations on the change that has been made and some upcoming things that we're going to be rolling out. So I want to make sure that I sent them a congratulations. And I am going to present the PowerPoint in a shortened form for the budget, but just had a couple more announcements. The Indiana Plan classes are starting October 6th through the 17th. We have approximately 20 participants that will be in the class from Michigan City and some from LaPorte County. So that will be starting here soon. And again, that's the pre-apprenticeship program. And then last but not least, before I get to the presentation, the Restoring Communities Grant is out on the website. We rolled that out when we did our opioid awareness walk. Those grants are due by October 15th. The application is on our website. And again, those grants are anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 for those grants. And some of the uses, and I do want to share that, and it's from our opioid settlement money, community and youth education or mentoring. It could be faith-based or neighborhood prevention initiatives, support for at-risk populations, grief and family support programs, overdose reversal training and awareness. So it's a very simple application. I've sent it out to all of the organizations that participated in the walk and all of the providers that were there to provide services when we did the Narcan training. So that application is on the website for anybody who is interested. So I'll go ahead. Can I share? I think I can share, Drew. Let's see here. It's coming. All right. Is it in presentation mode? Can you all see this?
It's small, but we
Okay,
can.
hold on. We're going to get this right for you. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we had a workshop last week where we presented the 2026 budget. This is a shortened version of the actual presentation. We're not going to spend as much time on Senate Enrolled Act 1, but we do want to talk about briefly some of the things that we covered and share the 2026 budget. And this means, our preparation, some comparisons from last year to this year, our cash balances, and then what we have planned for our future stability. Again, we know that we need to stabilize our revenue sources. And House and Road Act 1448, that was the money that was owed to us by through some issues that were with the state comptroller's office, but that did pass, and this is not included in this year's budget for next year. But we will begin receiving monthly payments starting in August of next year for four and a few months, a little over 4 years. But it's $8.2 million that we will start receiving next August. Again, spent a lot of time at the State House dealing with that. We've also continued to use Baker Tilly to help us really look at our financial health and our forecasting as we get to 2028. And then we're utilizing data to build on these historical trends and data. We had meetings with all of the department heads. Again, I rolled this out at a workshop for the City Council. Hopefully you all have received your books if you weren't there. And, we spent a lot of time last year, over this past year, with our departments, making sure that they're controlling their spending. Last year was truly a baseline. This year has been truly a baseline year. But monthly, every department submits a report to me at the last Friday of each month by 2:00, and it talks about everything that they've completed for the month. So again, Baker Tilly is reviewing all of our revenue projections, and then they look at our final budget prior to submission. So the highlights that we included in this budget, a 2% raise, which also includes a riverboat transfer to the general fund of $4.3 million. We've also included in all of your salary ordinances ranges for all of the employees. One of the things that was discussed is that people who start with the city all make the same amount regardless. So now we have a minimum and a maximum range for all employees for every single position within the city. We also, for sake of finance and cost cutting, we've transitioned some full-time positions to part-time positions as people leave or through attrition. Another thing is parity for positions throughout the city. One of the things that did happen, refuse department, we're struggling at keeping CDL drivers. So all CDL drivers now will be within the same range regardless of what department, whether that's street department, refuse department, collections, whatever department you are in. If you're a CDL driver, you will have the same range for your pay. The same with seasonal positions. Our seasonal positions were all over the page. They all started at different amounts and had different higher amounts, and now they all have the same range throughout the salary ordinance. There's some increased certification pay for the golf maintenance organization. So we typically spend $40,000 a year for some specialty services and certification. Our two maintenance folks went through the training. It's going to save us $30,000 because they are now certified versus the $40,000 contract that we've been paying. Animal control, that was also an anomaly. Looking at the state average, the pay was well below the $21.92. So you'll see an increase in those actual positions. And then our park maintenance exempt staff, they worked over 1,600 hours in addition to their 40-hour work week over the last year. And we have those tracked. So our superintendent, Shannon Eason, did a wonderful job in tracking all of their hours. So that was another one. And then the last one, the event director will be equal to the assistant park superintendent. And one of the things about the event director is he's actually raising money to cover his department expenses. So he raised approximately $85,000 in sponsorships last year. And year over year since he's been here, that has increased. As far as capital spending, we focused on utilizing departments' actual budgets, lit and non-reverting funds versus using the riverboat. So a couple of trucks, some plows, and some mowers. So a recap of the reductions from last year. Last year, we cut deep. We cut in overtime, supply categories, some other expense categories. But year to date, the budget is holding. There are a few areas like in supplies where we probably cut too much. Printing costs have increased. And there's some areas around utilities and different things that have increased. But again, the riverboat revenues are down from last year. But the beauty of it is the permit and inspection revenue is up. I know that we implemented a new permitting software, but I will say that it's still a work in progress. But year to date, the number of permits has increased dramatically, and we already met that revenue goal for this year in the budget. One thing that we don't spend a lot of time talking about with the council is our healthcare cost expenses. Last year, our budget, we increased it to $21,000 per employee in 2025, but now we have to increase it to $23,000 per employee. We've seen a $400,000 increase in our share of total cost. In 2024, our total cost was $8,765,000. This year, year to date, we're already at $6,863,000, and that is continuing to grow. We are in the midst of going back and forth on some claims where we may see that number rise significantly, hopefully not into the double digits of the millions. We are still meeting with our insurance broker to find savings, and we've looked at some other ways that we possibly could get those numbers down. As far as Senate Enrolled Act, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. We did in the workshop. I talked about, we're transitioning from property taxes to local income tax. And again, the lit tax is going to be going away in 2028. So our employees, our people making more money and working here in the city is important because our money is going to be based on that. Property taxes, we're going to start losing regardless if it's a homestead exemption or a 2%, that 2% exemption, those include all of our rental properties and our Airbnbs and some other small businesses. And that is a significant piece of our portfolio for our net assessed value for the city of Michigan City. So again, in 2028, the lit will go away for our public health and safety lit, Cadget, and seated. And those numbers are huge. Those are not small numbers. We're talking, $13 million. And the new formula does not equal what we're going to lose. So we're going to see some significant shifts, but over the next year, we'll be working with our legislators to try to minimize that and hopefully find some revenue replacements versus the local government being forced to implement new taxes. So this is our budget. It's not much more than last year. It's pretty flat. It does include our 2% raises, $69,134,613. Compared to last year, so there's the revenue projections. There's a 2026 to 2025 comparison that we show our revenues that we anticipate receiving versus our expenses. One of the things with the riverboat, just understand that we only make that transfer if we need to. Even though it's budgeted, our goal is not to use the riverboat if at all possible. We only do the riverboat transfer as needed, unlike previous years where we will automatically do those transfers. We're only doing them on an as-needed basis when we need to. So these are the larger funds that are listed in the table. The general fund is our largest fund that we receive. That's from our property taxes. And you can see that we've budgeted pretty much the whole amount of that. Riverboat for 2020 for next year is actually a little bit less on the revenues, but holding kind of steady on the expenses. So again, you can note that. But then we have our motor vehicle highway fund, and that's where we do our streets and our roads. And you'll see the revenues and expenses there. One is for our unrestricted and one is for our restricted. Unrestricted we can use for salary. The restricted is where we put our CCMG match. And know that you can see that there's red there, and I'll talk about eating into the cash balance. In this budget, you do not have the wheel tax listed in there yet. We start receiving that next year. So the goal is not to just do CCMG, but to do pockets of smaller streets and neighborhoods as well. So once we start receiving that money, we'll be able to know what that looks like for us into the future. So it's not in this year's budget for 2026. And then you see our sanitation and refuse fund. Again, we're eating into the cash balance for that because we have a match that we have for a CNG truck. Again, when we received the grant for the CNG trucks, it was from a few years ago, and the prices have increased. So there's only approximately $132,000, I believe, left in the grant for the match, and the truck is almost $500,000. So we had to eat into the cash balance of the refuse, the sanitation refuse fund to pay for the truck. So again, the money that's coming in to the refuse fund doesn't cover all of the costs for the refuse department. Park and Rec, again, you can see those. So I won't spend any more time on these, but you can see public safety lit comes in at $5 million, and we're spending every bit of it and eating into their cash balance to cover the costs of police and fire. So negative fund balances. One of the things that we learned towards the end of my last city council term is that for the last decade, we have been eating into the cash balances of a lot of our funds, including the riverboat. And you would think we have a cushion, well, we don't. We've been eating into those funds by overspending. We're spending more than what our revenues are that are coming in. We've been spending, our expenses are more than. So you'll see in the NVH restricted, we're going into the budget, 317 into their cash balance, $317,948. So the estimated cash balance that they have right now at the end of this year is going to be about 628 to use as an example. So we project that we'll have about $310,000 in there. Same thing with refuse. We're eating into the cash balance, but we have 3 trucks that are coming this year. We're planning for 1 next year, but then we have another grant match that we're going to be utilizing those cash balances to replace trucks. So it's important that we keep a cash balance, but every year we're going into it and we're eating into it. This year you see opioid restricted and unrestricted in here. This year we covered our police social worker in our unrestricted funds, and we plan to do that again. There is a grant that supports that. But in the restricted, this is where our opioid grant match program, and there is a grant that we're working on that's $150,000 through the state that will require a match. So we went on and budgeted that money in there. Promise Scholarship. Every year this shows in the budget because of the scholarships. This is a regular occurrence, but this year we have 63 students that are in the Promise Scholarship this fall. I think this is one of the records. It's close to, if not the most. So there are 63 students in there this year. And then the other ones are ones that we do every single year that are regular transfers. If you want to see it by department, I just put the largest departments in here so that you can see how much we're spending with the police. Again, it's up a little bit this year. We made cuts last year in some areas. The same with fire. It's pretty flat. The park is pretty flat. So this is a pretty flat budget. Engineering expenses. This year, we have sidewalks and some other projects that we included in there. Our planning and building department, it looks like it's gone down, but there's going to be some other things that come our way. We have restructured that department significantly. And again, we'll continue to review the impacts of the legislation and look for other ways to move forward, with the new legislation that's hitting us. But also, Baker Tilly has really talked to us about creating a formal debt reserve and creating policies so that in case we ever have, another COVID or anything significant that happens, we need to have cash in reserve to make sure that the city is protected. So that is the short and condensed version of the workshop. That is on ALCO TV. So I want to make sure that we presented that to you so that the public could see it as well.
Were there any comments from the council? There, Dr. Cora?
Yeah, Mayor, it's a nice presentation, succinct. And I know last year you had to cut almost $7 million. And so now you're plateauing it out and using the resources as efficiently as possible. So thank you very much. I was also happy to see that a lot of kids in Michigan City are utilizing the Promise Scholarship. So that's good news. Thank you very much.
Are there any other comments from the council? There are none. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your presentation this evening. Are there any other reports from the mayor or other city officers and departments? If there are none, we're next going to have comments from the public. This is the time for public comments. Please keep comments as comments, not a Q&A for the council, and you are still allotted your 3 minutes. If you will please state your name and your address.
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I also want to echo the sentiments of Mayor Angie on the passing of Ricky Nagy. When I was a member of the Fire Merit Commission, I actually had the honor of making the motion to promote this hero to the rank of firefighter. Mention another thing. I did give communication to the clerk's office in regards to Mayor Angie's appointment as Barrett Taylor as the fire chief. There's this last Fire Merit Commission. They talked about a problem they've been having since Ralph Martin was the fire chief, and I think this solution I presented to him would be a good solution to it. Want to give congratulations to our football coach at Michigan City High School. They just announced that he was the Indianapolis Colts NFL Region 1 Coach of the Week for their big win over Valpo. Very rare for Michigan State to go over and get a road win over Valpo. They got to play Maryville Friday night at home. Everybody go out and support. I think if they beat Maryville, I think week 9 against Crown Point is going to be for the Duneland Conference Championship. None of Michigan Rogers or Michigan State has never won the Duneland Conference. The students have expressed to me many, many times in the past how they just love doing things for their school and community that has never been done before. And I think that would be huge if we can get that Duneland. They got to play Crown Point, and they're like exceptionally good. They got Coach Buzia. Matter of fact, the last time we went on there, Coach Buzia and Mark Hoffman were the 2 coaches, and they're both Hall of Famers from 2009 when they went over and beat them. I want to make a public service announcement. The county's going to be having another tax sale on October 7th at the county fairgrounds. You register at the SRS site. They got all the list of properties that are up. There's like maybe about 200 or 300 of them right here in Michigan City. Here's your chance to get an open lot. Put a picnic shelter and a play set on there. Have a place for your family to go have your picnics and barbecues, a place for your children to go play and keep them out of my yard. Or maybe you build a house or get a fixer-upper. You finally get that grown adult out of your house that's been driving you nuts or whatever. We talk about affordable housing. Well, here's your chance. Want to thank, we're in our last 2 weeks of the Farm and Forage Farmers Market every Saturday at 8th and Washington. I think it was fantastic since that collective took over. They had a lot more vendors, a lot better quality product, a lot more people came out. I just want to, keep on doing it. I think they just need to do it the same way this year. There might be have to find a different location, but just keep having the collective do it. And someone said, did you hear about the farmer's market vendor had a wooden tractor, it had a wooden tires, a wooden engine, wooden transmission, wooden seat, wooden steering, and a wooden run. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klavik.
Madam President, point of order. Point of order. Why are we having public comment now and not at the end of the meeting like we always do?
Well, I can answer that. That is because, as I stated in prior council meetings, that I am reviewing to make a change in regards how the president who resides, sitting president, it is the president's agenda, and that I can change the agenda as it is presented. So moving forward into the public comments will no longer be held at the end of the council meeting. They will be held before we get into our business. And that is according to Robert's rules as well, sir.
Well, that's fine. I just wanted to say that the public needs to know that, because a lot of times people will show up to the meeting later on after they see what the subject matter is, and they may wind up here at 7:30 thinking the meeting is still going to be going on, because public comment is usually the last thing. I just want to make sure the public knows, so that if they get here at 6 at 6:45, public comment's already over. They're going to say, why is public comment over when it's usually at the end of the meeting? So I just want to make sure the public's aware of that it's been changed now. Thank you.
And also, just as in regards to comments in regards to that, as far as the public being aware, again, the agenda is posted publicly, and they have the opportunity to also see that the agenda has changed. And if the agenda is not changed for public comments, just keep in mind, any of the council members can do a motion to substitute or to amend the agenda to change something or to add something to the agenda, which means that still could put the public somewhere, anywhere on the agenda for public comment, just for the record. If I can, we'll go back to comments from the public, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
For your office, the attorney, you would take one, pass them on to the. Good evening, my name is Sal Dunlap, 729 East Michigan Boulevard. I'm passing around a picture to show what greeted me after being in the hospital for a week. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, I added some of my words to that picture to make sure that you get the picture. I don't know how many times I've been up here to try to expose my soul regarding how I feel about a clean environment and what it does for you. The impact that it has on our children, our business, our stress level. It doesn't take a whole lot of money to clean up. Sometimes it takes time. But my mission is to encourage us not to mess up in the first place. I don't have anything else to offer but that. However technical the operation of this corporation might be, it ain't worth nothing unless we have a sound, structured, clean foundation. Now, I'm sick of people pissing on us. You look at that damn box. That was purposely thrown in my yard. I'm sure most of you all know where I live. I'm trying to represent something that delineates between dirt and earth. Dirt will kill you, particularly so if it's in you. Need to get with my alderman because there's a house around the corner on 8th Street that I understand was torn down without a permit. And the trash is still, it's so damn insulting.
Mr. Dunlap, could you, with the
Yes, ma'am.
cursing,
I'm
could you
sorry.
please eliminate the cursing, the swearing?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I apologize. But I want to make it understood. This is my desire to make a contribution to Michigan City. I don't have very much long to live as everybody else. You can come anytime. Going behind what I just experienced, hip surgery, August 19th, a week later, heart procedure. I left Franciscan Hospital and went to the rehab Imperium or something. What is that joint over there on Cool Spring and Woodland? Imperium or something like that. I was only there for a half hour. It is so filthy. It is so filthy. Urine smell all the way through that. I cried. Daryl was there, he with his mother. Didn't want to be crying in front of nobody else. But I don't believe that we deserve that type of treatment in our later years. I'm going to do everything I can to bring some smoke down on that location right there. Michigan City don't deserve that. Well, thank you for this time.
Thank you, Mr. Dunlap. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Hi, I'm Jay with Paul's Construction, currently working at the Maze Project. We have 10 employees, all union, all local, within probably a 30-mile radius. Big C is our vendor. They called and said thanks today to us for ordering so much material from them. We've got over 10,000 blocks there already, and it's just a great project. I'm glad to be there.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. Scott Melland, 200
Good
Kenwood
evening.
Place. Since I only have 3 minutes, I'm going to go fast. I'm going to try. Regarding Dr. Corr's initial question to the attorney, the attorney didn't say there was a contract in place. He said there was an agreement. In tax sales, there's a 1-year right of redemption. Those are the rules. Somebody can buy back their property within that year, and the investor makes a percentage of interest on the taxes. Here, apparently, there's a 2-week look back, 2 rulings. Just saying, I don't want to incur liability for the city, but Attorney Harris did not say we had entered a contract. It's just an agreement. That's not a contract. Concerning the one of the proposed ordinances coming up, I don't know if there'll be a chance to speak then. Concerning pay scales, we all know we have somewhat of a budget crisis facing us. I think the mayor has done fantastic work on the budget. I'm rather impressed by it, actually. But I would say at the least, the workers, our workers, of course, raises, I say yes. But for the executive ranks, the council members, perhaps the mayor, I would say, irrespective of need or deservedness, I would say it's bad optics at best. I would suggest perhaps you don't vote yourselves in increasing pay. The workers who do the work in Michigan City, and I'm not trying to negate what you guys do. I really appreciate the heart you all put into this city. Last year, I might have asked this at council, I get confused. I do go to a lot of meetings. We appropriated $400,000 to the Elston campus for some unified thing there. I don't know how to describe it. I'm just curious if we're ever going to get a status report on that, if we're receiving value for that $400,000, which is an ongoing commitment, as I understand it, for a number of years. Another proposed resolution this evening is for another abatement, for another development. As you know, I'm all very pro-development for Michigan City. And I read the documents. I see that we're trying to limit it to their investment, but I'm going to call that 100%. Why are we contemplating 100% reductions. Again, budget crisis. We need development. We need taxes. Abatements seem to mean we don't get the taxes. It is confusing. Maybe a 50% reduction. And if you guys are giving out abatements, I want one. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into this town. So if you're giving them out, I'm in. Last final note, I would like to say Councilwoman Lee looks particularly fetching this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
Good evening, Council. Andy Skiat, 203 East Harrison Street. I'm just here to give an update on our involvement at Project Maze. So we're currently on site working every day. Every day we're out there, our involvement gets bigger. Obviously, we're not one of the huge, corporate union companies that are corporate owned with hundreds of people, but we are union. We're locally owned, privately owned, and we're just a group of hardworking people that are from LaPorte County, from Michigan City, that work hard for a common cause, which is to develop our skills in a greater aspect, to have better lives and try to better the community. So the project has already helped us in that. We've already weekly, seems almost daily, we've been putting on more staff. We're getting more of the market share. I would say that the majority, maybe all the general trades will end up going union with our firm. The plumbing's all union, the glazing's all union. It just continues to grow. For a company my size, that is privately owned, one of the biggest restrictions we have to grow, to be honest, is capital, cash flow. So a lot of times on bigger projects, it's always by their terms, but a lot of times those terms aren't even held. You'll ask, when you get into it, we'd like to be part of this, but this is going to extend us out. What are the payment terms? And it's net 30, it's net 45, and we're grateful to be involved on our projects, but just usually those terms get extended to net 45, net 60, sometimes net 90, and that'll put smaller private local firms in a bad situation financially, and definitely will limit their growth. So the first day I sat down with Project Maze, I asked the question. I said, well, what are the terms? And they looked at me, now a multi-million-dollar investor, and said, the terms are whatever the local businesses need the terms to be involved. And I've never heard that in my life, and I've been doing this my whole life. And I understand, or it appears, that obviously some of the trades are unhappy with their involvement on the project, and I respect that of them. They're also union trades, but for us, it's been a blessing. And when you have someone that is at that level that wants to sit down with a common local private business person and wants to make the terms so it's beneficial to them and they can be included, I've literally never seen that. And as this goes on, we have the pool of manpower that we can draw from, and they want us to keep bringing on that manpower, and they keep ensuring us that the terms will be met so we can afford to provide that manpower and be part of the project on a larger scale. And indeed, our first check for our first pay app came within 7 days. So we submitted that pay app, that check came within 7 days. A week later, they're asking us for the next pay app, and they assure us that that pay app will come on time so that we can continue to grow our business, continue to grow our staff, and continue to grow with Michigan City. And I've genuinely never seen someone come in at that level that is willing to carry someone to build them up and give that opportunity. So I wanted to thank the council. I know it was a hard vote for allowing the project to move forward, and I want to thank the project for allowing us to move forward with them.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
John Watson of Westville. I'm also a business agent for Local 150, in which I've been a member of for 27 years. I'm here once again to speak about the Maze Data Center project in Phoenix. It's our understanding the council has an opportunity to rescind incentives resolutions. Local 150 has had conversations with Phoenix, and there has been no commitment to local labor. I'm asking this council to rescind the incentives request until Phoenix signs an agreement and commits to utilize local workers. The data center project is valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, and the development has been granted tens of millions of dollars and incentives with very few local workers. It makes sense to protect our assets, give our local workers a chance, demand an agreement between Phoenix and local workers, or no incentives. Also, we're challenging the legal advice given to you by Attorney Harris. Thank you. Have a good
Thank you. Mr. Watson.
All right, good evening, council members. Corey Campbell with Labor's Local 81. I'm going to piggyback kind of off what Mr. Watson said, and that we are challenging the advice that Mr. Harris gave, just on the basis of contracts actually being signed and if there is actually resilience on it. I do want to point these two out. They are union contractors. Andy is a union contractor. Jay is a union contractor. 3 laborers. I don't know how many employees Andy has. He's signatory with the carpenters and the electricians, but it's a minimal amount for the size of the project that's out there. That is the point that is trying to be made. And for the fact that Phoenix keeps saying it's not a real project yet, I don't know how much real a project can get with multiple pieces of equipment out there and hundreds of employees out there working on a project that's not quote unquote real. That's the point that's trying to be made. And that's why we are asking for the rescinding of the tax abatement until further commitment could be made on hiring local labor, local contractors, and there's a better commitment going forward versus allowing them to just keep on doing what they're doing, hiring smaller union contractors to appease everybody. For us, that's not going to work. So thank you for your time and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell.
Good evening. My name is Marcella Kunstak. I reside at 400 East in LaPorte, Indiana. I'm a construction analyst for the Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa Foundation for Fair Contracting. I too want council and Mr. Harris to know that I will be filing a FOIA, Freedom of Information request, to request for any contracts that have been signed and entered into within the last 2 weeks. As Mr. Harris has given this body assurance, they were entered into. So we will be requesting all of those contracts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom Donning at 205 East 11th Street. I want to thank all of you for passing the resolution about the prison on September 2nd. That's a great job. Ms. Lee, you said there's a fear in the public that will be used as an ICE detention facility. What about the fear in the public about all the shootings in Michigan City this year? You had one in your ward. There's been 3 within a few blocks of me, and there's been 2 since the last meeting. Dr. Cora, at the council meeting on August 19th, you said, if we don't have good roads, it's not good safety, and it's not good for business. You remember that? Are 5 people shot dead in Michigan City good for safety and business? Mr. Beatry, at the same meeting, you made a joke about the catalytic converters that were stolen off the school buses. You and the council should have been outraged that thieves shut down the school system. You had a shooting in your ward too, Mr. Beatry. Ms. Moldenhauer, you go on and on about the environment. When's the last time you took a walk around Franklin Street south of the train tracks downtown? The amount of trash in the streets is amazing. I guess since it's a budding ghetto and not the beach, it's not a problem. Mr. Dabney and Mr. Przybylski, you asked in amazement how someone could vandalize Water Tower Park at the golf cart and the golf course because they can get away with it. Do you think a slap on the wrist and a hug from a judge sends a message that there's consequences for your actions? What about the county prosecutor? He made a deal with Arthur Smith, who's only getting probation after shooting up Lauren Drive in broad daylight on June 10th. There's been 2 shootings in Mr. Nelson's ward this year, but I haven't heard anything from him about them here or in the news or on social media. Mr. Coulter, you should be embarrassed. Your ward leads the city in shootings this year. There's been 10, and not a peep out of you when your ward is up for grabs with people getting shot and drugged out vagrants harassing people on Franklin Street. As a council this year, you're more concerned about people driving golf carts around than people getting murdered. You spent months arguing about how tall grass can be, but not once have you addressed the maiming and killing at a city council meeting. Shootings are up 55%. Murders are up 66%. Your city leaders. Where's the outrage? Where's the resolution calling on the county prosecutor not to make plea deals with people arrested for shootings in Michigan City? He's about to make another one with Kizzy Harper, who allegedly shot up the BP on Franklin on March 9th. Where's the resolution calling on the Port County judges to keep high bonds for people accused of shooting up Michigan City, especially when they're also charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon? Would you be shocked to learn that LaShawn Murray, who allegedly shot 2 people at the BP on Franklin on March 9th, was set free on his own recognizance? Now there's a warrant for his arrest. Where's the resolution calling on the state legislature to increase bonds for people charged with shootings and being serious violent felons with guns? Where's the resolution calling on courts to make prison mandatory for people convicted of shootings in Michigan City? They often get probation, which puts them back on the street, which they routinely violate. And now you want to raise taxes, and Prisbalinski, you're worried about people smoking too close to government buildings? This isn't Mayberry, and there's serious problems in Michigan City. It's time for you people to get your priorities straight. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? This is the last call for public comments. Public comments are now closed. Next on the agenda, Madam Clerk, are there any petitions this evening?
There are no petitions.
Madam Clerk, on communications, please.
Correspondence was received in my office on September 11th from State Senator Rodney Pohl requesting a report on physical impact on government. A public notice was also received on September 8th from Newbie, Lewis, Kaminsky, and Jones regarding rezoning of real estate at 504 Eastwood Road, Michigan City.
Madam Clerk, our first resolution by title only.
A resolution by title only, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Michigan City, Indiana, granting Ameriplex Marquette JV LLC and assessed valuation deduction tax abatement for real property pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1-1-12.1. And this is introduced by Mr. Beatrice and Mr. Dabney.
And doesn't the sponsors have any comments? Councilman Beatrice?
This building that we're talking about is the Holiday property that some of you may remember that they got a tax abatement a few years ago because we were looking at building a spec building that businesses could move to Michigan City and not have to build themselves. It's been super successful. One of the biggest companies in that Holiday property project is Marbach, and Marbach is growing and growing and growing. They need more land, and this tax abatement is for an extension of that whole project to move east, directly east of where they are now. It's construction of new Class A flex industrial multi-tenant speculative building comprising 54,000 square feet to fulfill the needs of current tenants and also additional. Holiday will invest over $5 million for this development. And Holiday Construction has a record in Michigan City of using union labor on all of their projects. So there shouldn't be an issue there. And it's a 7-year abatement. I think that we might have Mr. Hulse who wants to address this as well.
Good evening, Council. Clarence Hulse, EDCMC Director. As Councilman Beatrice said, Holiday Property has an extensive record of working across the region and in Michigan City. They have a number of projects in the region. They built one building so far in Michigan City, the Barker Haskell Building. And this is an addition to what behind that building. If you look on the map, if you can pull up the map there for a second, it will have the location of the current Haskell building and also where this building plans to be. They have Cleveland Boulevard. And then they build very high quality industrial buildings. And so we're excited for them to get this building built and get started on it this year. You can put a picture of a prototype of what they're planning on building. Mr. Michael Connor is in the audience if you have any questions for Holiday Properties directly.
Are there any other, is he unmute? Were you done, Mr. Hulse?
Yes. And I said Mr. Michael Connor is in the audience if you have any questions for him directly
Thank
from
you.
Holiday Properties.
Okay.
Hi.
Good evening.
Mike O'Connor. I'm with Holiday Properties. I live in Porter County, near Chesterton. I'm with Ryan Kelly. Ryan runs our office in Portage, Indiana, and we're here to answer any questions about the project. Want to thank Clarence and Caroline at the Economic Development Corporation for their help in advocating for this project, and we're excited about getting it started. Things are headed in a very positive direction in Michigan City. Our Haskell building was very successful, and we want to repeat that success with the Aldridge. We're calling it the Aldridge Building, and it's right on the same site with the Haskell building. And happy to answer any questions you might have.
I will have to open this up for public comments first, and then it'll convert back to the council.
Sure.
Are there any public comments are now open on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution?
Scott Mellon, Tour and Kenwood Place. Again, we are for development. We're also building a road per contract for this. It's from the original agreement of developing the site, I believe. So we have to pay for a road. I think the real question is, without a tax abatement, will they still build it or will they not? Again, why do we have to keep giving away the store? It's not 5 years ago. It's now where we are a development destination of a sort. And again, we're facing a budget crisis. And let's stop thinking about 100% giveaways and think about lesser amounts if it's feasible. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on this resolution? Last call for public comment. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council. Councilman Dabney.
Yes, and from what I understand, this abatement is a 7-year abatement. With the savings coming out to about $256,000 over that 7 years. And then after the 7 years is up, all of the dollars will flow into Michigan City. That's what a tax abatement is about. During a 7-year abatement, it can go from 100%, and then the percentage comes down over the years. So there are tax dollars that are coming into the city. It's not like we're not getting anything over that time frame in the abatement. But I just wanted to explain that to the public here, how that all works. So the amount decreases of the tax savings that they will have until we get down to the year 7, when 100% of those dollars will come into the city coffers. So just want to explain how a tax abatement worked.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. Councilman Pryzbylewski.
Yeah, I don't know who can answer this question, if it's Clarence or the authors of the resolution. How did we come up with $5.5 million for tax abatement on this project?
Councilman, if I can answer your question.
Yeah.
The $5.5 million is the cost of the project, not the tax abatement.
The investment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay. Well, same thing with the tax abatement. How did we come up with the amount for the tax abatement?
It's usually standardized. Typically, in the past, we've done 10 years. Over the past, I'd say 8 years, we've actually shortened the tax abatements from 10 to 7 for real estate, and from 10 to 5 for real property. So typically, when we negotiate down, as in 100%, 95, 80%, because in the past, it was typically 10, 80, 10, 90, 80, 50. So we can adjust those numbers accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other, Mr. Beatrice? Oh, okay. Are there any other comments from the council? If there are no other comments, may I entertain a motion on this resolution?
Motion to accept.
Motion-
Approve.
A motion by Mr. Beatrice and a second by Councilman Dabney. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
Mr. Pryzbylewski,
Nay.
and Ms. Tillman.
Aye.
We have 7 in favor and 1 opposed.
Madam Clerk, our first ordinance by first reading by title only?
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance or resolution for appropriation and tax rates. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Okay, this ordinance or resolution for the appropriation and tax rates, this is something that is required for the approval of the 2026 budget. It will once be signed, once we approve the budget. This is just a formality that we need to take. And if the controller would like to elaborate on that a little in detail, please.
Hi, good evening, council and members of the community. I'm Mary Lynn Wallen, the city controller. Yes, we have presented to the council the mayor's budget. How this goes is this is the first reading. This is just the introduction by title only of the budget. Now all the council members have a copy of the budget for their review. The next council meeting, which I believe is October 7th, if I have the date right, that will be the public hearing. The budget will be advertised on Gateway as required by statute. So we will have that. We're getting that all in Gateway. So that has to be by statute. It has to be 10 days before the public hearing. So that will be the advertisement. And then the council will have its opportunity to review the budget and make any cuts to the budget if they deem necessary. And then we'll have third reading to whether to approve the budget. And then it'll be obviously signed and sent off to the state for approval after the council's approval. So this is just introducing the budget as a first reading. And the next council meeting will actually be the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. I would like to open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments by the council? Councilman Przybylinski? Are there any comments from the council? Comments from the council? There are none. This ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on first reading by title only.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance setting salaries and wages for appointed officials and employees of the city of Michigan City, Indiana for the calendar year 2026. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to substitute due to that there are amendments. As all council members did receive, you have the blue papers that are in front of you. And I would like to entertain a motion for substitution, please.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Beardtree. May I entertain a second? Second by Councilman Dabney. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. Ms. Moldenauer,
Abstained. I haven't seen the paper.
Mr. Przybylinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
and Mr. Beardtree.
Aye.
We have 7 in favor and 1 abstain.
Okay, and as you look into your into the salary that has been provided in regards to the amendments, what was oversight that was put in was under the police department. They added in, which was already in their budget, for an administrative assistant 3, and then under the aviation for the foreman maintenance supervisor, and then for their seasonal laborer. Also, if you go under golf, the PGA Professional Director of Golf Operations. I'd like to open this up for public comment. Are there any public comments on this ordinance at this time?
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I'd like to review the 2 proposals that I made at the mayor's workshop last week. Make no mistake about it, over the last 20 years or so, Michigan City's lost a great deal of its employer base. And our nonprofits has taken a big hit as a result. My number 1 proposal would be to offer, for a generous, all municipal employees across the board, For a generous 1 hour's pay a month donation to the United Way LaPorte County, they would receive 1 bonus paid vacation day to use at any time of the year. And another proposal I have, before our public lit goes away, this would come from the lit funds for all the members of the Michigan City Fire Department and Police Department, including the fire chief and the 2 deputy chiefs and the police chief and the 2 deputy chiefs, that at Christmas time, they would receive a Christmas time bonus of a $100 L Supermarket gift card through the lit funds. And they could usually have the option to take that gift card and buy groceries for them and their family at Christmas, or they can have the option of donating that entire gift card or a portion of that gift card to the Salvation Army. And I think that'd be a great bonus for everyone to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flavic. Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Any public comments on this ordinance? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Councilman Dabney?
Oh.
Are there any council comments? Any council comments? If there are none, this ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance setting the annual salary for the mayor. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. So in regards to this, if the public have also had an opportunity to read this, as what was stated by a public comment a few minutes ago, one of the things in regards to this, if you read the ordinance that is being presented, it does indicate, whereas the mayor has requested that her annual salary for 2026 remain the same from 2025, and the Common Council now desires to establish the salary for the mayor for 2026. I just wanted to point that out. That is all that I have on that. I will open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance?
Tom Dotting, 205 East 11th Street.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you lift the mic just a little?
Tom Dotting, 205 East 11th Street. I think the mayor should take a pay cut of 66% for how much murders are up this year.
Scott Mellon, Turner Kenwood Place. Once again, I think it's bad optics for the executive and elected officials to receive a raise. I would point out statistically, 66% sounds scary, but when you have a very low base, a very small increase makes a large dramatic statistical increase, not to minimize the violence we have had. But again, if you're going from 100% increases, 2 more.
Gotcha.
Any death is too many, of course, any murder is too much, and we do need to focus on this. But to assume that you're not, I think is incorrect. But again, I think it's bad optics to give a raise to anybody other than our workers in the city employ. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time on this ordinance? There are none. Public comments are now closed. Madam Clerk, on the next ordinance, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance setting the annual salary for the city clerk, and that's also introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. And again, I will reiterate, if you've had the opportunity to review what this ordinance states, and the second whereas does indicate that the city clerk has declined a 2% increase from her 2025 salary, and the Common Council now desires to establish the salary of the city clerk for 2026 at the same rate as 2025. I would like to open this up for public comments. Public comments is now open on this ordinance. Are there any public comments? Public comments on this ordinance? Last call for public comments. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Are there any comments from the council? Council comments? There are none. This ordinance will be held over until the next reading. Madam Clerk, on the next ordinance, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance setting the annual salaries for the Common Council members, and this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. And as this one states, a little different from the other two that was presented. In the second, whereas it does state that the Common Council now desires to set their annual compensation for 2026 with a 2% increase from 2025. With that being said, any of the one of the 9 council members have the right or the discretion to request to amend said ordinance in regards to the salaries. I will open this up for public comments. Public comment are now open on this ordinance.
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I feel the same way that I felt about last year when I told you. I really don't think you should be getting any council members ought to be getting paid any more than what you're already getting. You ought to be apportionate to all the other city councils across the state of Indiana, which is basically we're a city of the third class. So I think you should, I know Councilman Dabney tells me that the council members in East Chicago and Gary make $40,000. That's Lake County. Go move to Lake County and run for city council over there and get elected. I do feel, when you came on, that you should all be entitled. You should have the option of having health insurance benefits. I think we can get some more younger council members up. I very treasure that we have 3 council members now that are a lot younger than I. I do cherish your wisdom and knowledge, but I think it's time for the the old guard to step aside and the young generation to rise to power, like Councilman Coulter and Councilman Lee and Councilman Nelson.
And
Thank you.
Councilwoman Tillman, I don't know how old you think I am.
Well, you're about the same age we are.
I'm younger.
Tom
Are there
Donahue,
any-
205 East 11th Street. Murders are up 66%. Your pay should be cut 66%.
We did it. Thank you.
Scott Mellon, 200 Center Place. I think it's important to note that several members here, the mayor and the clerk, have declined the raise, and I think that's worth note. I would suggest that all of you probably should decline it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That is last public comment. Public comments are now closed. Are there any comments from the council? Any comments from council? Any comments from the council on this ordinance? There are none. This
Madam President, I have.
Both.
Yeah, as suggested by several members of the public, I would like to just follow the mayor and the clerk and decline the 2%.
Is that a formal motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll support.
There has,
Point of order, does that have to be made in the form of a written amendment, or we just can't?
can
Yeah.
we address that, Attorney Harris?
That's correct. I think what would be most appropriate is that if a request is made to present to the council an alternate, we can draft that based upon Dr. Corr's request and have that ready for the next agenda. So we can do
Thank
that.
you.
Yes,
And that's what I was about to say. We can't do that on second reading.
correct.
Thank you, Madam President.
Are there any other comments from the council? Any other comments from the council? Councilman Prisbalinski?
Yeah, just one more for Mr. Kolovic. That's why you need a little experience up here so you can bring items like that up.
Mm. And are there any other public comments? Public, council comments? This ordinance will be held over for, second reading. Madam Clerk, on the next ordinance.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, creating section 78-7 in the Michigan City Municipal Code to prohibit smoking within 20 feet from the public entranceways of Michigan City government buildings. And this is introduced by Mr. President.
Would the sponsor like to make a comment?
I certainly would. And this was brought to me by the city attorney, because this is what employees here at City Hall were requesting. It's nothing that Councilman Don Prisbalinski went out and started investigating. So this is what was presented to me. I agree with it. If it makes the employees feel healthier and they don't have to walk through smoke at the doorway, or they don't have to have smoke filter into their open windows on whichever side of the building that people are smoking at, then yeah, this is what I'm presenting. And if I could just read a little bit of the ordinance here. So what it is you have to be 20 feet away from the entranceway. We all know it's 8 feet right now, so it's going to be extended back 12 feet. and how they're going to mark it off or whatever, where the areas are going to be at, that's up to City Hall to figure that out, or any other city department. But what it's going to include is smoking, which we all know deals with cigarettes, pipes, cigars. It'll also entail electronic cigarettes, electronic water pipes, and vapor cigarettes. So that's all going to be included in this. Thank you.
I would like to open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance?
Yes, this is Tommy Klovic, 1316 Ohio. I think this is ridiculous. You need to vote it down. We already tried doing this about 8 years ago, and Sharon Carnes was the city council. She wanted to ban smoking in the park. The main reason why that got voted down, the police said that's enforceable. Who's going to enforce this rule? What are you going to do if they do break the rule? They going to send them home for dinner? Going to tell all their kids and their family members? No, this just isn't right. You know what? You're going to ban smoking at a Sunset Grill or in any other areas of the city where people enjoy their leisure time. And I know the fire department facilities, they already have all this now, the training center and all the different fire stations. Now there's no smoking near the door. They can't smoke in their vehicles or in the buildings. I actually took a tour of the grounds of all 4 of the fire stations, and I wanted to see if there was like a smoking area where they go out and smoke. That was common at ANCO. It's really clean as a whistle. But I just think that it's just so, city. It doesn't say City Hall. It says all city buildings. So just vote this down.
Thank you, Mr. Klovic. Any other public comments on this ordinance? Any other public comments on this ordinance? Public comments are now closed. Any comments from the council? Councilman Coulter?
Madam Chair, I'd like to be added as a sponsor. Madam Clerk, excuse me.
Madam Clerk, if you would, please. Are there any others that would like to be added as a sponsor at this time?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor too.
I'll add my name as well.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the council? Councilman Pryzbylewski? This ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, amending certain subsections in section 38-33 in the Michigan City Municipal Code regarding the revolving loan fund. And this is introduced by Mr. Don Pryzbylewski.
And does the sponsor have anything that they would like to add?
Yes, Madam President. The funds that are in this loan program right now, what it's going to do is it's going to be, we're taking certain amounts of funding out, or what we'd like to do is take out certain amounts of funding. And the funds can then be used for the city's annual contract with the Economic Development Corporation. There's a certain amount there. And funds may also be used as a local match for parks and recreational capital projects and/or beautification projects, which shall include but not be limited to the proposed destination playground in Fetters Alley. And the fund may also be used as an incentive as a corporate match for businesses doing funding towards park and recreational capital type projects and beautification projects, which should not be just limited to Fetters Alley or this destination playground that is in the works right now. And that is the basis of the ordinance.
I will open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance?
Scott Malantura, Kenwood Place. I'm actually a member of that board, the Revolving Loan Fund of Michigan City. As you recall, that was a fun appointment. Thank you very much. I actually made the motion that we voted on that has led to this, and I'm a little confused. The matching funds were for specifically the all-inclusive playground at Fetters Alley. In hearing this, now I've heard it's been expanded. That was not what my motion at the Revolving Loan Committee was for. Additionally, I'd like to point out to the council, they may not have heard, the revolving loan fund has not been widely used recently. And part of what we did in our deliberations of these funds being used for EDMC and for the revolving loan fund, we also redefined what our mission was. One interesting thing about the revolving loan fund is that we can help a business anywhere in the municipal limits of the city of Michigan City, whereas Schuyler and Clarence are limited to TIF areas or other specific zones. So we're the only mechanism the city has to help small businesses that can help any business in the municipal city limits. And I think that's important that you know. I don't know if it's been reported to you, but we've redefined our mission, and we thought making the funds for the playground matching funds that we could specifically elicit larger donations and such from corporate entities was a good use of the funds. Again, I'm a little uncertain why that's been expanded to any park program. And I'm a little concerned by that as a member of that board. And I just am letting you know what I know. But I did in fact make the motion that we devote the funds to EDMC for 2 years and for the matching funds for the playground. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Any other public comments on this ordinance? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments from the council, Councilman Dabney.
Yes, regarding the revolving loan fund, I've never been in favor of the revolving loan fund. Here's why. You give me a loan that comes from the city. If I don't pay, where are you in line in case I don't pay the loan to be able to get those funds? So if I go bankrupt, who gets paid out first? Who gets paid out last? Where does revolving loan, what are your guys' legal, what can you do to me if I don't pay the fund? I've always been leery of this with the revolving loan fund. So I understand what it's trying to do, but the city is not a bank. I know it has a great, like I said, it is trying to do good things in the city. Everybody plays by the rules and pay their loan back on time. No issues whatsoever. But if someone decided not to pay, how are we able to get our funds? Can we go to court? Where do we stand in the line of being able to get paid from a business? Because, they're going to pay out other debts and things of that sort first. Where do we stand in line to get paid? I'd love that answer at some point.
Councilman Przybylinski. Are there any?
Yeah. He's going to address it. Let him address it.
You're doing another Q&A?
We'll talk afterwards. Yeah, what?
Are there any other comments from the council on this? Are there any other comments from the council? If there are none, this ordinance will be held over for a second reading. Madam Clerk, do we have any new business?
There's no new business.
Madam Clerk, do we have any unfinished business?
There's no unfinished business.
Well, the last thing on our agenda at this time is comments from the council. Do the council have any comments at this time? Councilman Dabney.
Is there anybody else? And they can go before me if they want. No, I'll go. I'll take it. Okay. What I'd like to talk about tonight, one of the big ongoing discussions that we've been having, is what we can do as an entity to force Phoenix investors or the end user, whoever that may be, to hire union workers. Let me remind everybody that we are in a right to work state. So I don't know what we can do to force any private entity to hire union workers. Due to that, I don't know how legal that is. But then, doing my due diligence, I came up with companies like Marquis Electric, LCPM, what is that? Carpentry, Airflow, Meyer Glass, Paul's Construction, and what is that? F.E. Moran. They do plumbing and things of that sort. All union workers that are out there working on this project. So I am wondering while the other unions who are upset, how did these guys from Michigan City get in and others did not? What happened? Were they able to negotiate with the company or the end user in order to be able to get in, and why the others were not? That's baffling to me. And then at the last meeting, there were a bunch of people sitting in the audience with this narrative saying that we gave away our leverage of being able to hold them accountable for something. I was not told we had leverage. It let somebody else, somebody else explain that to somebody else here. I did not hear that. The negotiation was the negotiation, and the deal was the deal that came before us. Nobody told me that we could stop and ask for more things coming from Phoenix or anything like that. So in looking out for the city of Michigan City, when it came up, I know our budget shortfalls are coming. What the mayor presented tonight, what's going to be happening when the lit goes away in 2028. We're going to be looking at what, 3.2 million or something like that in terms of a budget deficit. So that $5.5 million that's coming in, along with the $500,000 that will come in every year, will come in handy for us to be able to offset some of that. And we still don't know what the legislative body of Indiana is going to do to us regarding cutting our funds. They're doing a great job of it now. So I just want to say, I did not feel like I was in a position to sit up here and play some high stakes game of chicken, to be able to stare them down on whether we could get more out of them. What if they just continue to do the project and they didn't accept the tax abatements? Okay, they're still a Fortune 500 company.
Fortune 50.
Yeah, I just wanted 500, but they're big. They're in the top 50. They're still going to be a Fortune 50 company. Data center's still going to be there, but the city didn't get anything. Zero. So I didn't feel like I was in a position, once again, to sit up here and challenge that. So we come up with a big fat zero because I didn't know. Nobody told me that negotiations were still open. If somebody else has that information, please tell me about it. But I was not notified of that. So I'm getting email and text messages and things of that sort, talking about what we should have done. I went with the best information that I have. And I didn't feel like I would have been looking out for Michigan City by, like I said, playing that high stakes game of chicken to figure out if we were going to get anything or not. Because if we didn't get anything, I know where that would put us. So in my mind, I really, truly believe I made the best decision for what we needed to have done here in Michigan City, because I know what's coming. I didn't know what's going to come, what their decision would be if we would have done that. But I do know what happens if we get nothing. So people can be upset with me all they want. It is what it is. That's what these positions bring us. We make decisions that not everybody's going to agree with. And those are the things you have to do as a city councilman. You really have to make these decisions. So I understand. But once again, I just want to know what would happen if they did pull out and say, are we just going to do this without you? They have the building. It was zoned correctly. They didn't need us for any of that. So they were up and running. So there it is. And then I still want to know what's going on with the unions, why some Michigan City ones are in, other ones did not get in. Did they not negotiate properly, or what's going on there? I don't understand that to tell you exactly, but that's how I feel about that whole thing. And hopefully we can move on from this. I know there's FOIA requests and everything like that that people are putting in. But now, if there are things that have already been signed and we renege on that, we're getting sued.
Hands down.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the legal fund to pay for that? No, we don't. Will the people who are upset and that we stood up and got sued for, are they going to be able to make up the money that we're going to have to pay? Are they going to pay it for us? Doubt it. So I'm speaking from the heart on that, and that's the way I feel about it. And I could talk about a couple of other things here as well, but I'm running out of time. So I'm going to leave it at that. And maybe I'll come back at another time and talk about the other things I have a problem with as well. Thank you.
Councilman Beardsley.
Well, I'm kind of on the same page as Brian, but I've understood from the very beginning when we had these meetings with Phoenix and also the end user that there's going to be plenty of opportunities for unions to work this project once the end user is identified and meets with other unions about work that has to be done. The majority of the work will be done after the end user is identified and sets the parameters. I don't get why some unions seem to ignore the fact that other unions are working. I'm on the same page as Bryant on Project Maze. We've had a ton of workshops and a ton of opportunities for all unions to get involved about this project, and some didn't, and now they're complaining about it. No one on this board is against unions, and all of us favor local unions for all of our projects. We're not the enemy here. In the last 5 years, 3 of those years, I took 2 school buses load of kids from the high school and AK Smith to the IKORCC facility in Maryville, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Training Center for Carpenters. We filled 2 buses and we took them there because that's an opportunity to provide an in to apprenticeship for kids that want to join those unions. And a lot of those kids were enthused about it, and a lot of them are there now. I'm a big supporter of the Indiana plan. And the thing that confuses me is that the unions were in favor of the Indiana plan that we're going to start here now and gave money to support that. And because of our votes at our last meeting, they've rescinded. They've taken that money back. Who are you hurting there? We're offering you an opportunity to increase union members who are local, and you're taking money away that we need to help that program be successful. So you're shooting yourself in the foot to me. I'm confused by the whole thing. I just don't think that unions have been treated unfairly, and I think more opportunities will be in the future, but you're not presenting your argument very well if I were an end user.
Are there any other comments from the council? Councilman Coulter?
Thank you, Madam President. So I really want to highlight my support for Councilman Dabney and Councilman Beatrice's concern that the city could be exposed to getting sued if we did rescind the abatements, excuse me. But I really want to underline that we are looking at doing community workforce requirements and working with our unions to write strong policies for that. And hoping to meet with them as soon as the budget season's over in order to have those conversations and to concentrate on those conversations. I also really want to voice my support for having public comment first. Councilman Prespolinski made a comment that sometimes it's difficult that people show up around 8 o'clock to make sure that they can sneak in before public comment to make their comments and not have to listen to us talk about budgets and how long the grass is before they can make their good points. This allows them to show up at 6:30 and make their comments and then be out the door by 7 or whatever. It's easier for the public. It gives more transparency to them, better opportunities for them to make their comments and voice their concerns. Another thing, I've got a list today. I wanted to support my voice my support of Farmington Forge 2. As people know, it was rained out on Saturday. So the people who rely on that to get their tripled up SNAP benefits ended up going to LaPorte, and I was told that the line at the only vegetable stand at that farmer's market it was a line all day, and it was a line down the street. So it's awesome that we have that, and that resource is being used by the people of Michigan City, and those triple up SNAP benefits is something that is unique to the Farmington Forged market. Other markets are really pushing to get doubled up stuff. So the fact that we've got it tripled up is awesome. That really supports the struggling families in our community. And then the last thing I wanted to make a comment about, I think I've got a couple more seconds, is that I just wanted to acknowledge that the Coaling Tower has been torn down in the First Ward. That was built in 1923. It was used up to 1950s before we started to move away from steam engines. And by the end of the 1950s, it was pretty much out of use. In 2010, Amtrak inspectors declared that it was structurally unsound. And so now this last weekend, Monday morning, I think they finally demolished it. As much as it's a cool old building, there's a tree growing out of the roof of it. It might be time to tear it down. So I just wanted to say goodbye to the Coling Tower. It's been a fun little thing for me to drive past on my way to work every day. A really cool image of Michigan City, but definitely something that needed to go and make room for something new. Thank you.
Dr. Cora?
Thank you, Madam President. The one area I wanted to comment on was about the gun violence. The mayor had organized a community meeting about gun violence, which was well attended. If it's appropriate, Madam President, I would suggest having a council workshop to address this issue because it's on the mind of many people and rightfully so, and involve our law enforcement into that discussion and what can we do as a community to address this problem. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Madam President?
Mr. Chris Belinsky?
Yeah, just one quick comment, and it's not a life and death situation, but I know the south side of Michigan City is like a panhandling paradise. There's a lot of people down there that do panhandling. Well, now they're moving out from away from the big box stores to the actual median strips at the intersection of 421 and 20. And by state law, that's illegal to do that. So I've contacted the city attorney. She's contacted the chief of police, and they're going to go out there and address the issue before, well, number one, you don't need people panhandling and greeting visitors or anybody in the Michigan City. And number two, you don't want to see one of these individuals get hit by a car standing out there. So it's being addressed. I know it showed up on Facebook. People have been making comments about it, so I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the council? No, sir. I would just like to end by saying this was a very productive council meeting this evening. Public comments, all voices was heard. Also, just a reminder, Let's Talk Solutions, the Michigan City Matters Town Hall meetings. The next one is scheduled for Thursday, September 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church at 819 West 7th Street. And also, some of the council members had the opportunity to go to Michigan City High School to support the AP Geography class to where they did a project in regards to all of our wards. And they had their presentation supported each individual wards of the history, the knowledge, the development, the things that they see there. And I just want to say to Ms. Tyson, her students, thank you for welcoming us. It was an awesome time in the presentation. And actually, I wish that they could actually come to City Hall to show their display. It was amazing. They had things from their poster boards, and each student actually had something to speak on, whether it was regarding the history of what was going on within that ward, future development. They spoke about the migrations, the first settlers that was here in Michigan City, things of that nature, and it was really awesome. So, and Mr. Beardtree was in attendance, Councilman Dabney was in attendance, and so it was awesome. So thank you again, Ms. Tice, your class rock. So if there is nothing else, no further business, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So.
Thank you and have a good evening.